Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Happy Friday to everybody. Hit that like and subscribe button. We post videos every Monday through Friday. Last video for the week. Let's get straight into it. I had to wear my Matherin jersey today. Why is that? Because Matherin has just won a medal, National Assembly Medal of Quebec, along with his sister. And Pacers players are just getting medals and prestigious awards and everything like it's fast food right now. And it's honestly amazing that the team is getting as much recognition as it is. We've seen Siakam win certain awards. We've seen Halliburton win certain awards. Just everyone out here doing their work outside of basketball, on the court. And it's honestly wonderful to see that a team like the Pacers can be so recognized around the world. And obviously, Matherin is from North Montreal, so he is from a French-speaking part of Canada, which is similar to Quebec, of course. And I mean, winning any sort of medal like this in a city, in a country, in a province, just anything, it's just a big deal. Especially he's only 23 years old and is already getting these big accolades outside of basketball. Just very happy for him, very proud of him. Um, Now it's time to see what he can do as a full-time starter. Switching over to basketball a little bit, and I think he's going to have motivation this year. He had his games where he was struggling in the playoffs. He has his games where he was struggling in the regular season. But when he really gets that chance, he is one of the best players on the court. He can drop you 20 to 25 points a night when given that chance, when playing the minutes he wants to play. And I can see him really becoming an all-star this year. Now, if he doesn't, there's always next year. But I just don't see him having a bad season. I genuinely think Matherin has a bright future, and I hope it's with the Pacers. But no matter what, he's going to have a bright future. Now we're going to talk about a free agency signing that didn't happen for the Pacers, one that I must have talked about a while ago that I thought would have been a good veteran presence off the bench. But Malcolm Brogdon has signed a one-year deal with the New York Knicks. Now, he was one of those players that I was a little shocked was still on the free agency list. I understand he has a little bit of an injury issue, and he kind of struggled to actually be on the court for the Wizards. It was kind of the same thing for the Trailblazers. But before that, he was he was the first ever second-round pick to win Rookie of the Year, back in 2016. And then he had a good career with the Bucks, good career with the Pacers, and then he had a good season with the Celtics where he won Sixth Man of the Year. But then once he got to Portland and Washington, it was kind of just injury-riddled seasons, which sucks because Brogdon is a good player. Every time Brogdon played against the Pacers, he would be an absolute baller. Very much a thorn on the Pacers side whenever he played against us. But congrats to him on getting that contract with New York. New York now has built some pretty decent veterans on that roster, and now, they're going to continue to be one of our biggest rivals forever till the end time. But it is good to see Brogdon still out there playing and just picking up contracts here and there. Hopefully, he ends up in Indy one day. Now, obviously, it's not going to be this year. Man, you never know. It could be a trade candidate by the trade deadline. But as of right now, he's going to New York on that one-year deal, and we're going to see how he does. And the reason I wanted to cover him is not just because he was one of the people I've talked about before during like my free agency thing, but he is also a former Pacer that had a decent career here. He was part of that Aaron Nesmith trade, where he was actually the big name in it at first, but then Nesmith became, as good of a player as he did, but we also received players like Nick Stauskas, who didn't even suit up for the Pacers. A lot of players in that trade didn't even suit up for the Pacers. So, all right, next we go to the leader of this team, one of the leaders of this team. That's T.J. McConnell. Everyone listens to T.J. Everyone loves the way T.J. acts, kind of like a father figure on the team. He's just someone who, no matter what he plays, whether he starts in a game where someone's injured or whether he's on the bench like he normally is, every time he goes in, it's like a whole new wave of energy. Just someone who can pretty much do it all as a 6-foot guy. To pretty much just do it all. Now, the one thing in his game that he is still trying to improve is his 3-point shot. He doesn't take a lot of threes, but when he does, he pretty much splashes it. His mid range is amazing. He drives like someone who's 6'8". Um, just the way he plays, just everyone loves it. That game 3 against Oklahoma was one of the best bench performances I have ever seen in the playoffs. 5 steals, having 4 stats over 5, and on the off the bench is insane. Very impressive, especially being 6 feet tall. But there was a shot where in Game 7, McConnell almost led this team to a finals victory. They're in that third quarter. It was him against the Thunder. But I'm very excited to see what McConnell continues to do. I think he should stay in Indy for the rest of his career. Obviously, he's our longest tenured player now since 2019 when we signed him from Philly, and just kind of want to see what else he can do on this team. And then last but not least, I am gonna talk about Rudy Gobert. Now, this has nothing to do with Rudy Gobert ever coming to the Pacers. This is just there's a article out. He was talking about crediting the Pacers to how like our kind of style of play to how the Timberwolves can be successful. Basically, just how the Pacers spread the offense, spread the floor, know who to get on defense, and just kind of like a passing game. So if anyone ever watches soccer, there's a team in Spain called FC Barcelona, which you've probably seen me wear a shirt of Barcelona because I am a big Barcelona fan. Their whole style of game, whenever Messi was on that team, was tiki taka, which is just passing game, pass, 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 pass. And obviously, it's a lot different in soccer because in soccer there's no shot clock. It's just a running clock. You can have the ball the whole 45 minutes of the first half and never give it to the other player, and you can most likely still not score. But you basically just passing game until you find that right play, and then you get to shoot the ball. That's kind of how the Pacers play most of the time. It's just pass, pass, pass. Obviously, you get 24 seconds to make as many passes as you want and then get the shot. And that's kind of how the Pacers have been playing. It's been a lot of fundamental basketball that the Pacers have really shown over the years. And the Timberwolves can play that kind of style. They definitely watched because the Timberwolves struggled against the Thunder. Besides that one big win they had, they struggled against the Thunder. The Pacers looked Pacers looked better than any team against the Thunder this year. Nuggets almost had their number, but the Pacers looked very good against the Thunder this year. So the Timberwolves really just want to kind of match the energy that the Pacers had, because I don't know if the Timberwolves can really match the Thunder energy as much as they can match ours, because the Thunder were just so defensive, and there's really no team in the league that play with that style of defense that the Thunder do. They just made it impossible to live at all in those games. Multiple all-defensive team players. They have 3 people that are at least could be all-defensive first team next year. That's J-Dub, Lou Dort, and Caruso. 3 people who have been all-defensive team. They could also potentially have Hartenstein, who's also a very good defender. And that team is just... And Cason Wallace is a great defender as well. So they have a lot of good defenders on that team. But, it is interesting how other players can credit the Pacers, which I love, because the Pacers deserve that recognition, But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go, Sirs.